What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for our SmackDown review for last night's episode, March the 5th, 2021, where we had ourselves a steel cage match. If Daniel Bryan could win, he moves on to FastLane. If he loses, he must acknowledge Roman Reigns as the tribal chief of WWE, the best in WWE. So, we start the show off with a talking segment, but not a Roman Reigns State of the Company address like he does every single week. No. Actually, Michael Cole was in the ring waiting for Daniel Bryan. So as we know, Edge is going to headline WrestleMania against either Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan as he introduces him. Graves ends up hyping up the steel cage match for later in the night, with Bryan earning a title shot if he wins. But he has to acknowledge Reigns, as I said, for his best wrestler on the planet, and the head of the table if he loses. Cole asks Bryan about tonight's main event and the stipulation. Cole mentions how a win for Bryan would throw a wrench in the original planned FastLane main event, which was Edge versus Daniel Bryan versus Uso and Reigns. Which I hate that they keep doing this because it was never announced. It was never told to anybody that it was going to be Edge and Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. That was just something that they came up with on the whim to make it look like Daniel Bryan is defying orders. He's the underdog. He has to change plans every time. Nobody, even Daniel Bryan, he asks, why would you want to change that main event? Cole says, you're making assumptions. The biggest one being that anyone ever asked me if I wanted to be in that tag team match. No one felt the need to run anything by him because they know I will show up, work my butt off, no matter what. But he understands why Edge or Reigns didn't bother to ask him. He says he's making a change. He's not going to be an old Daniel Bryan anymore. He knows that they have this Edge versus Reigns dream match, and he gets it. Nobody sees it as a dream match but Vincent Kennedy McMahon. That's it. Everyone wants to see Attitude Era versus Thunderdome dream match, except for me. And I will do everything I can do to make sure that doesn't happen. Excuses Cole. It says he will take it from here and shows us a video package on the big screen. The video shows how Daniel Bryan won the Elimination Chamber match and came close to defeating Daniel Bryan. Not really, but a match that lasted 90 seconds afterwards. So he started the chamber, he won the chamber, and then 90 seconds later he's dead in the middle of the ring. We see how Edge hit Reigns with a spear at the end of this match, confirming that he will pick Reigns at WrestleMania. And then we come back to Bryan in the middle of the ring by himself. Bryan says he lost a lot in his career. He's gotten beaten up. So you think after winning his third chamber match and fighting as valiantly as he could against Reigns, that it wouldn't be a big deal. But never in my life has I felt like a failure, like I did when he saw Edge point up to the WrestleMania sign that night. Bryan says a lot of people don't know this, but they say Bryan doesn't have a lot of ambition. Calls how WWE did things personally. These personality tests a while back, and the lady said he has the lowest ambition she's ever seen. Give me a fucking break. And she wondered how he was so successful. The only answer he had was that he loves doing this, and he doesn't feel like he's worked a day in the past 20 years because he loves this as much as he does. Bryan says the last year he's taken on being a dad more than a full-time wrestler, so he put other talents before him. So when Edge pointed at WrestleMania sign and Bryan felt like an absolute failure, it was because I failed myself. Bryan then realized he has a lot more ambition than the personality test could ever show. Seriously, what's up with this personality test? It's probably something that never actually happened, but they just want to use it as a plot device. So dumb. I got upset and then had them being in the main event because I love this. Bryan says this is the last 3 weeks. He's wrestled more matches than Edge and Roman have combined in the last 3 months. I do this because I love this, and goes on and says that he is an absolute best. Keeps hyping up tonight's match and earning a Universal title shot until out comes the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, and Paul Heyman. So they come down. We go to break. We come back from break, which I felt kind of awkward that they went to break, but Daniel Bryan was up there flapping his gums for at least 12 minutes before they finally decided to come out. Reigns is in the ring facing Bryan. The boos get louder. Reigns takes the mic and is looking at the same guy, but he doesn't sound like the same guy. Reigns says that the way Bryan is talking is confusing. He knows that fans are confused. He says Bryan is ambitious and driven. Now, no. Bryan is an underdog, the little guy, the lottery winner. Bryan is going to know the guy who waits on an opportunity, and sometimes it works out. Reigns says Bryan is not ambitious. Guys like Roman, and there are many of them, are ambitious. Reigns says Bryan also doesn't love wrestling. He needs it because he has nothing else. Reigns goes on and says he does love this business. I don't need it, but it does need me. Everybody needs me. SmackDown needs me. The roster needs me. The crew all need me. That cameraman right there, he needs me. Heyman needs me. Uso needs me. Jey needs me. Even you, Bryan, need me. Once Jey whips your ass tonight, he will know he needs Reigns in his heart and will acknowledge Reigns. Uso takes the mic and steps in Bryan's ranting and talking trash about tonight's cage match and says Bryan's road to WrestleMania ends tonight and shoves the mic back into his gut. Uso walks away but turns to attack Bryan, counters and sends him hits him with a hip toss and then throws him out of the ring. Bryan stares back down in the middle of the ring at Reigns. Bryan watches Reigns make his exit. Uso clutches his arm and back ramp while they stare down, and that is that. So, great promo by Daniel Bryan. Roman gave us a good one too. Jey Uso, just a passion I've been hearing out of this guy's voice. It's been a blessing in disguise for sure, and I believe he talked about this in an interview with his brother being gone. Which is, if it wasn't for Roman Reigns, Jey Uso would not be seen just like any other tag team. Because usually in the WWE, and they've been doing this, unless they really want to make somebody a singles wrestler, while they really want to do that, when a tag team, one member gets injured, we see the other one just disappears. I believe Jey was injured a couple years ago. I think it was Jey. And then Jimmy was put on commentary on SmackDown. This is back in like 2015 or 13 or something like that. Way before the brand split we see today. But yeah. Great to see that Jey Uso is actually getting opportunities to go out there and show us what he can do. And he just gets better every single week. Jey Uso right now is like a wine. A fine wine. Or any wine really. He's getting better with age. So we go to what was supposed to be a tag team match as the Street Profits come out. We see what happened last week, them versus Corbin and Sami Zayn, and it was supposed to be a rematch. And I'm thinking, good fucking grief. This company just can't deal with this. They continue, they just book the same shit over and over. Well, instead of a tag match, Sami Zayn comes out, he talks trash, and Corbin's like, comes out and it's like, Sammy, enough of this shit. I ain't dealing with this. I don't like you. I don't want to be your tag team partner. I'm a singles competitor. So either one of you two want to take me on right now, I'll do it. So we get Montez Ford versus Ben Corbin. This doesn't last very long as Sami Zayn distracts Montez Ford. Corbin gets the pin in the win with an end of days, and that is that. After the match, Corbin stands tall as the music hits. He rolls to the floor, and Sami wants some of the same help he just gave Corbin. Angelo Dawkins runs over and knocks Sami off the apron to the floor. Sami and Corbin argue at ringside. Corbin says, "You know what, buddy? You're on your own. You're on your own. I'm good." Sami isn't happy. So we go to Dawkins versus Sami Zayn. So instead of getting a tag match, we get back-to-back singles matches for the tag team champions who were on this tour of reclaiming the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Again, another match that doesn't go very long, but we have Turnabout is Fair Play, as Sami stalks Dawkins now, but stops when he sees Ford trash his camera crew at the ringside, throwing water on the camera. Dawkins takes advantage of the distraction and rolls Sami up for the 1, 2, 3, and they walk away. So of course you're gonna put the tag team in singles matches, you got to 50-50 them. That's what WWE loves to do. They love the 50-50. So, we go to the back. Well, before that, Sami Zayn is pissed off. He's like, he sees one guy with a small camera, and he's like, who is this guy? I didn't hire him. Do you work for the company? Who's paying you? I need answers. Hits him with the knee to the stomach, and just takes the guy down. Sami is losing his mind, and it's doing well for him. So, backstage, we see Reginald with champagne, a champagne glass, and a tray. And he's walking. He walks up to Carmella. She says, let's play Who's the Snake. One of us, one of us gave you a job and made you her sommelier and everything else. And the other one was too obsessed with betraying me and helping Sasha Banks and obsessing over Sasha Banks. He says he was doing it all for her. She says, "You're the snake." Slaps his shit away, and says, "You're fired." Walks off. He is shocked. So Reginald kicked to the curb just like that. What does that mean for Carmella? I don't know. See, the whole thing was that the whole story was that Reginald was trying to convince Bianca Belair to go after Asuka so Carmella could be in the women's title match at WrestleMania against Sasha Banks. That did not happen, and here we are. Dominic Mysterio versus Chad Gable. This match is coming after last week when the Alpha Academy pretty much destroyed the Mysterio family. Otis being a heel and everything now, which, again, here's the thing. If you wanted to turn Otis heel, why didn't you not just keep Heavy Machinery as a tag team, a team that you broke up for absolutely no reason, that really didn't even get to feud against each other? So, really nice little short match here. Dominic is getting better over time. Chad Gable is just fan-fucking-tastic. Gable actually gets pinned in a roll-up by Dominic in a really creative way. Dominic gets the win. Ray stops Otis from attacking, sending him into the edge of the announce table. Ray leaps off the apron with a senton to Otis, joins Dominic on the ramp to celebrate as Alpha Academy sees in the ring. And this obviously is not over yet. So, I don't know. See, it seems like things have changed in this because there for a while it really did look like the WWE is going with Dominic versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, with Dominic probably turning on his father between now and WrestleMania, setting up the match. Because for a while there it was like Rey Mysterio was trying to control what Dominic was doing, and all of a sudden it's like they're all buddy-buddy now. So, I don't know what they're doing with these two at WrestleMania. I would like to see Dominic versus Rey. I think that would be a really good match for WrestleMania. Of course, we still have 5.5 weeks, or 5 weeks, really. So, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. We see what happened with Cesaro swinging Seth Rollins last week, and then we go to Caleb Braxton with said Seth Rollins. He agrees that Cesaro's swing went on forever and ever, goes on about Cesaro being afraid of him and wanting to humiliate him. He promises he won't forget that. Buddy Murphy appears next to Rollins. Rollins looks at him, but he then stares straight ahead. Murphy says he was thinking he could assist Rollins in the Cesaro situation. Rollins, without even looking back at him, says, "Get out of my sight. Now." Murphy walks away. So this guy has been gone for months, since December. We've only seen Murphy one time, and that was when Seth Rollins made his return 2-3 weeks ago. And Seth Rollins, it's like, Murphy disappeared, Aaliyah's gone, there was no mention of him in this match that he has later on with Cesaro. No mention whatsoever of this guy was dating Aaliyah. We're supposed to just forget all about that. Nothing, this company does not surprise me whatsoever. But we're supposed to pretend like Aaliyah never was in WWE. Aaliyah was never part of the company. She was an afterthought. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me with this crap? This is what WWE likes to do. They like to say, well, here you go. Here's how we're gonna do things. We're gonna start the storyline off. We have no way of finishing it. We have no end game for it whatsoever. We're gonna do it anyway. And then when we realize we run out of ideas, we're just going to take the two characters off TV, subtract the one, bring the other one back months later, and pretend like nothing happened. And that is what happened here. They had no plan for the Aaliyah, Buddy Murphy storyline, love angle. Nothing. They had a start, but no finish. They had a middle. The start was her falling in love with him. The middle was them getting together, but they had no way to break them up. Also didn't help the fact that Aaliyah was so photogenic with her boyfriend, her fiance, in real life on social media. Just saying. So we have Shannon Basil versus Bianca Belair. Why is this match happening? Oh, by the way, at FastLane, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks will once again challenge Nia Jax and Shannon Baszler for the women's tag team titles. Why? Because they can. Even though you had a few weeks ago a triple threat match on Raw with the winner getting a women's championship match, and that match was won by Lana and Naomi. But why aren't they getting a tag team title match? Why aren't they complaining that they should be getting a tag team title match because they're the ones who earned it, not Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, who had not earned it, they lost, didn't they lose clean at the Elimination Chamber? So can someone please tell me why they get a title match when others do not? So, you have this match here. Sasha Banks is outside. Reginald follows her like a lovesick puppy. And he gets in the way. Too much. Ends up getting destroyed. Gets Banks destroyed. Shayna Baszler tries to put the killer through the clutch onto Belair, but she didn't get it locked in. Belair counters and scoops Basil up into the KOD. Hits it. 1, 2, 3. And Belair gets the win. There's no way in hell you're having Bianca Belair lose going into WrestleMania clean. Shouldn't have her lose anyway. Her or Sasha Banks. Which again, I don't want to see them win the tag team titles because that's no fucking reason to do that. But this is what WWE wants to do. After the match, Belair stands tall and her music hits. She goes to replay. She gets out as Reginald tries to control Banks, who is still down. Belair tells Banks that this is all Reginald's fault and she needs to fix the Reginald problem. She walks off the ramp. Belair pleads with Banks and smiles at her. She just says, yeah, we're cool. Slap to the face. Slaps him to the face, holds his face as Banks poses in the ramp, and she walks backwards and off the ramp. So, poor Reggie. Dumped by Carmella, dumped by Sasha Banks, all on his own. Such a shame. We see Jey Uso backstage with Roman Reigns. Reigns says, the title is safe at WrestleMania if you can win tonight. But if not, I have to defend the title at FastLane, and that's fine. But if Jey loses, he's not only embarrasses himself, he embarrasses the family. He tells him not to embarrass the family and says he got this. So, okay, a lot is cool and all, and I guess it's a motivational tool, but how in the hell does losing a match cause you to embarrass your family? I don't understand that at all. Then we have Cesaro versus Murphy. Seth Rollins out on commentary. Basically, Cesaro and him have a match. They go for a bit. Cesaro gets a Cesaro swing, which Seth Rollins is not happy about because, oh, he's mocking me. He's doing it to mock me. Puts him in the sharpshooter. Murphy taps out. And that is that. Nothing special about the match. Cesaro stands tall. Rollins stands up on the announce table and applauds Cesaro as Cesaro stares him down. We see Reginald backstage with his luggage, apparently leaving. He stops at Sasha Banks' locker room. Taps on the door. She opens the door. He's just trying to like, please, miss, please. No! Closes the door. In his face. He keeps walking. Nia Jax and Shannon Baszler stopping. Baszler says he reeks of failure. She taunts Reginald and threatens him. Jax says, Shayna, Calm down. Don't you see what I see? He's kind of cute. Looks around a bit confused and walks off. And then we go to commercial break. Are we doing another love angle with... It's probably not. I don't know what they're doing, but alrighty then. Back from break, we get another of the... We got, for twice tonight, we got video packages of Big E as the Intercontinental Champion, the fact that he's going to be back next week. Cole also plugs the Heaven documentary of a female high school wrestler, Heaven Finch, and the new Goldberg at 54 documentary on WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg premiering this Sunday on the WWE Network. We go back to the ring, and out comes the new Nigerian-born Apollo Crews carrying a spear, wearing his scarf, with two men wearing combat boots, fatigues behind him. They enter the ring first, and Crews follows. The Muscle stands behind him in the middle of the ring as Crews enters between them. Fans boo as Crews takes the mic. He starts everyone saying how they don't like the new Apollo. He says, "This is not the new Apollo. This is the real Apollo," giving us the worst Black Panther Chadwick Boseman impersonation. This was literally, he was given homework to go watch the Black Panther movie, learn how fucking Chadwick Boseman played the T'Challa, and you come back with that accent. I don't care if his parents, his grandparents, his grandparents' parents, his grandparents' parents, his grandparents' great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was from Nigeria. He's not from Nigeria. He is from Sacramento, California. He was born and raised there. Having him come on, pulling a reverse Kofi Kingston where he gains an accent somehow, even though now they want to try to make it sound like they were trying to make it seem like he's House. Hugh Laurie, who played House, who went on set, dropped his started speaking like he didn't have an English accent, but when the shooting was done, he went back and used his British accent. That's what they're trying to say here, which is bullshit, because there are countless times that you see this guy outside of wrestling, outside of the curtain, talking like he would when he was before. This is just crap. Everyone knows this is crap. I can't get behind the gimmick because they decided, if you wanted to be the first, my ancestors are from Nigeria, but drop the accent, I could get a little bit behind it, but that accent kills this. The men here are real elite Nigerian elite guards, which I say bullshit. Do you really think you got two real Nigerian elite guards to leave their post in Nigeria, come all the way here, quarantine for 2 weeks, and then come on to SmackDown with you? Give me a fucking break. It's two members of the Performance Center. You're not fooling anybody. Crews goes on about how he always wanted to be like everyone else in school, but they never accepted him. They asked if he lived in the jungle and rode lions. Crews was ashamed when the truth is Nigerian ancestors were feared in this country and dominant. Crews says history is repeating itself because Intercontinental Champion Big E tried to beat him and humble him, but every time he tried he heard his ancestors telling him to stand up and fight. So basically, you're insane. Crews knows Big E is at home nursing his injury as he feels what Crews is saying. He's happy Big E is coming back next week because Crews is no longer the man Big E once knew, who, once dismissed, Crews goes on and demands a rematch for the Intercontinental title. He says Big E will fall before his feet and will leave Big E a broken man for the rest of his life. Big E will be haunted by Crews' complete and total victory. Drops the mic, stands tall in the ring. Poses in the elite guards, the phony elite guards, and that is that. I can't buy it. I'm trying to get into it, and it's just the fake accent kills the gimmick. If he wanted to be like, my family's from Nigeria, but remember, he cut that promo. He's like, I'm from Nigeria. I'm like, no, you're not. Everybody and anybody can go to any fucking database of anything and find out that you're not from Nigeria. You're from California. Your parents might be from Nigeria. Your grandparents might be from Nigeria. Their parents might be from Nigeria. You, sir, are not. And I don't think for 1 second that fucking accent is real. That is a fake as fuck accent. Come on, man. Natalia teaming up backstage with complaining to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Why is Sasha and Bianca getting a tag team title match when they have been dominant? They say. Pearce says he's sorry, but that's the match that was made. He walks off. The bill says Adam just went with a different match. I think they're starting to do a thing where eventually Adam Pearce is going to be the authority figure on Raw, while Sonya Deville becomes the authority figure on SmackDown. Of course, the last female general manager authority figure on SmackDown, we've only had 3. We've had Stephanie, Vicky Guerrero, and Paige, right? I think so. Stephanie was great back in 2002/early 2003, if I'm correct. Vicky was fucking awful, and Paige was awesome. Kayla stops Jey Uso and asks if pressure going into tonight's match. Jey is confident and isn't sweating no cage. Bryan suddenly attacks out of nowhere and lays him out. Bryan walks off. We go to commercial break. Uso's down on the ground trying to recover. We get a ding-dong hello thing, skipping that, don't give a shit. And then we go to the steel cage match. We get the cage lowered. Corey Graves is in the middle of the ring for some fucking reason, talking about how dangerous the cage is. We see a cameraman standing on top of the cage, showing us the height that there is between him and Corey Graves. Graves says competitions will be both leave no piece of themselves in the ring. Did we really need this? No. It was just buying time. Out comes Daniel Bryan. Out comes Jey Uso. Out comes Roman Reigns to sit down and watch this from down on the ramp. Now, this match starts, and Jey Uso is just violent from the start. He's throwing Daniel Bryan into the cage, shoving his face into the cage, telling him to acknowledge Roman Reigns, and he's beating the fuck out of Daniel Bryan. But Daniel Bryan, of course, gets back into it as Jey Uso tries to leave the cage early and say, you know what? He's done already. I'm out of here. But nope, that doesn't happen. Bryan goes to the top, hits a big missile drop kick. He works him over and focuses on his arm, which became a big, huge problem for him. He's softening him up for the yes lock. Heyman looks concerned now, and Bryan avoids the attack and climbs up to escape. Uso stops the corner and climbs up. It did, like, him working on Uso's arm did prevent Jey Uso from trying to escape via climbing as well. So Uso climbs up the wall, makes it to the top, but here comes Bryan trying to pull him over the top rung to the cage. Bryan with the headbutt to the top of the cage. Uso is knocked to standing on top of the rope. Bryan gets his leg over the top of the cage, but Uso grabs him, drags him down over to stop him from escaping. Bryan fights off the top rope, slamming Jey into steel. Bryan with a big super butterfly suplex from the top. Bryan goes right into the yes lock in the middle of the ring. Uso crawls over and grabs the bottom rope, but it doesn't matter inside of a steel cage. Unless you're WWE and you forget that thing, and I believe we've had that once before in a steel cage. I think it was Gargano and Adam Cole or somebody. They put their hand on the rope, and the ref's like, hey, get him off. Yeah, that was stupid. Anyway, he finally taps out. Daniel Bryan gets the win, as you should. Bryan's music hits. He starts celebrating. The announcers confirm Bryan versus Reigns for FastLane. We get a replay. We come back from break. He's sitting on top of the cage, leading to the yes chant. Reigns is sitting in his chair at ringside, looking up at Bryan in celebration as SmackDown goes off the air. And that is it for SmackDown. SmackDown. The fucking main event was great. The rest of the show fucking sucked. How many times are we going to have outside interference in a match in one fucking show? You had at least 3. Ugh. SmackDown, it's like SmackDown last summer with Bayley and Sasha Banks, Fiend starting to take over Alexa Bliss when it wasn't bad. I mean, it's starting to get a little over the top, but back then it wasn't bad. Then you had Roman Reigns coming back, and SmackDown was firing on all cylinders and was one of the best shows on TV. And then something happened, and it's become increasingly worse. Worse and worse and worse. I don't know what it is, but WWE needs to get their shit together. But that is your SmackDown review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds of the France Club, find me on twitch.tv/France Club, and find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I'll see you guys on Sunday for Revolution. So tomorrow, see you guys then, and hope you have a good night.